Have you ever met someone who quietly unsettled you in a way you couldn't explain? Not with speeches, not with promises, but with the feeling they stirred inside you. It's almost like your energy recognizes theirs long before your thoughts can catch up. You try to move forward, to forget, to place your attention somewhere else, but something unseen keeps drawing you back. That isn't an accident. That's emotional gravity. Every bond we form carries a silent current, a pull that guides the heart toward where it feels most understood. And here's the truth people rarely admit. Even when a man is connected to another life, his heart doesn't always follow the situation he lives in. It responds to what feels true. It responds to the energy of emotional safety, recognition, and honesty. Emotional choice isn't logical. It's energetic. It's the quiet pull he can't name. It's the reason his mind wanders toward you when he's supposed to be fully grounded somewhere else. It's not about betrayal or fantasy. It's about alignment. Something in you reflects something in him that he's still searching for. And that's where the deeper mystery starts. In this moment, we're going into what shapes that silent connection, how he chooses you emotionally and energetically, even when his life moves in another direction. Because once you understand this force, you stop chasing clarity. You become the clarity he keeps returning to. Sometimes connection doesn't follow logic, at least not the logic we expect. You may look at him and wonder how he can share a life with someone else, follow a routine, be part of another home, yet still feel drawn toward you. It can be confusing, even painful. But the reason isn't always romance or desire. It reaches deeper than that. It's emotional, energetic, almost spiritual. When two people connect at a deeper level, they awaken something inside each other that cannot easily be replaced. You may have sparked in him a version of himself that feels alive, honest, and seen. Maybe you reflect a part of his emotional truth that he cannot voice in his current situation. He might not fully understand why you stay on his mind, why hearing you shifts his mood, or why he feels calmer in your presence. But something in you reminds him of authenticity, of who he is beneath the roles he has taken on. In many relationships, people slip into patterns. They do what is expected rather than what is felt. They stay because it's familiar, steady, or because they fear hurting others. But the heart doesn't chase comfort. It reaches for alignment. And when his heart feels that alignment in you, he becomes tied to it, even if he doesn't want to be. This doesn't mean he loves someone else less. It doesn't mean your connection must turn into something physical. It means there is an emotional thread between you, a shared tone that speaks without words. You might feel it too. The way you sense his mood without trying, the moments he enters your thoughts and then suddenly appears in your messages, or the strange signs that keep nudging you into each other's world. What he feels is not obsession, it's resonance. You awaken something in him that feels like home, and once that happens, no matter where he goes, part of him always remembers. Sometimes these connections are not meant to possess, they are meant to awaken. And in awakening him, you've also awakened pieces within yourself. Every man, no matter how confident he appears, eventually faces a quiet battle between what he feels and what he believes he must do. It becomes a pull between heart and mind, between emotional truth and social responsibility. And when he finds himself emotionally tied to someone outside of the life he already lives, that inner struggle becomes stronger. Men are often taught to honor logic over emotion. They are conditioned to think that duty, stability, and commitment define their worth. So even when their feelings move toward a person who brings them alive or reminds them of who they really are, their logical mind steps in and says, "You can't, you shouldn't, this is not right." Logic builds walls, emotion tries to rise above them. But emotions speak in their own way. When a man feels understood, accepted, or emotionally safe with someone, it creates a freedom his mind can't easily explain. With you, he may feel like he can drop the weight he carries. The need to perform, the need to be strong at all times, the need to appear controlled. You reach the unprotected part of him, the part he hides from the world. And that emotional honesty feels like air to someone who has been quietly holding his breath. Yet his logic reminds him of promises, responsibilities, and the structure of the life he built. Logic says, You have too much to risk. But his heart quietly answers, what if I'm already losing myself by staying where nothing feels alive? This is the struggle between emotion and logic. The mind calculates, but the heart remembers. The mind weighs what is practical, but emotion holds what is real. That's why he can move through his day looking steady while something inside him feels unsettled. He may stay where he is, but he doesn't feel grounded. He may smile, but the warmth behind the smile fades. And it fades most when his thoughts drift toward you. He is not choosing between two people. He is choosing between two truths. The life he built and the feeling calling him to grow. And that is a painful place to stand, because no matter which path he chooses, something must be left behind. If he follows logic, he keeps order but loses emotional honesty. If he follows emotion, he gains depth but risks everything familiar. This conflict does not make him weak, it makes him human. Emotion does not follow rules, and connection does not always arrive at calm and convenient moments. The real struggle is not about right or wrong, it's about obligation versus alignment. Once you understand this, you stop blaming yourself for his confusion. You begin to see that his inner storm is not about you lacking anything. It's about him confronting parts of his own truth he avoided for years. And in understanding that, you find peace. Because true connection isn't about forcing a choice. It's about awakening the deeper truth that eventually makes that choice unavoidable. Emotional choice usually doesn't announce itself loudly. It rarely shows up in dramatic actions or big statements. Instead, it moves through small, steady signals. Signals that reveal where his heart rests, even when his circumstances look different. When a man is choosing you emotionally, his energy starts aligning with you in gentle but powerful ways. You'll notice it first through his attention. Even on days when he is busy or overwhelmed, he still finds ways to stay close. He might reach out just to hear from you, ask questions about moments you barely remembered telling him, or check on you for no clear reason. These small touches are not empty habits, they are emotional threads. His thoughts naturally move toward you because you have become part of his inner world. You are not a passing distraction. You are a place where his mind finds quiet. Another sign is vulnerability. Many men guard their emotions, especially when their life is already connected to someone else. But when he begins opening up to you, sharing his fears, his doubts, his hopes, that is emotional closeness. He's not simply speaking to you, he's trusting you with parts of himself he rarely reveals. This kind of emotional opening means he feels safe with you. And emotional safety is one of the strongest signs of emotional choice. Then there is the way he reflects your energy. He begins to pick up your tone, your expressions, even your way of thinking. When you become distant, he senses it immediately. When you are warm, he relaxes. This quiet emotional mirroring shows that his heart is tuned to yours. It's like your energies move in the same rhythm, even without speaking. You can sense it too when you are together. Even if his life feels divided, the moment he meets you, his attention shifts fully. The noise of the world fades. There's a calm intensity in the way he listens, in the way he looks at you, in the way silence between you feels meaningful instead of uncomfortable. That is not simple attraction. That is emotional priority. You'll also feel his inner conflict. He may withdraw suddenly or act colder than usual, not because he stopped caring, but because he is trying to understand feelings that make no logical sense to him. His silence becomes part of his thinking. When he returns, and he always returns, it is his way of admitting the emotional pull he cannot escape. In the end, emotional choice rarely shows through loud confessions. It shows through what he feels compelled to do. He may not be free to claim you openly, but his heart already has. He shows it through loyalty that doesn't follow rules, through attention he can't hide, and through a connection that keeps leading him back to you, no matter how far he tries to walk. Label, care that needs no explanation, and a connection that time or distance cannot easily weaken. When a man is emotionally choosing you, even without speaking it, his energy tells the real truth, and that truth somehow finds its way back to you. There are certain connections that rise beyond logic, beyond timing, beyond anything reasonable. The kind that feels as if the universe placed two souls on crossing paths for a purpose neither one completely understands yet. When a man feels deeply connected to you, even while tied to another situation, it is not only emotional chemistry, it is energetic alignment. Something within your frequency responds to something in his, creating a pull that neither of you fully controls with the mind. Every soul carries an energetic signature, a vibration shaped by experiences, emotions, and past lessons. When two vibrations match or complement each other, they form harmony, much like two musical notes joining to create a perfect chord. That is why when you meet someone whose energy feels familiar, it can feel as if you have known them long before. You are not only meeting in the physical world, your souls are recognizing one another. In his case, your energy may awaken something quiet inside him, a truth, a purpose, a part of himself he pushed aside under routine or responsibility. Your connection becomes a mirror showing him the man he truly is at his center, not the one he thinks he must be. And once that awakening happens, he cannot ignore it. His body may remain with someone else, but his energy starts to move around you because your vibration feels like a safe place to him. These kinds of spiritual connections arrive with strong intensity, a magnetic pull that feels destined. You may sense each other's emotions even when you are apart. You think of him and suddenly he reaches out. You feel his worry, his confusion, his longing, as if your energies are woven together beyond distance or time. That is because on an energetic level, they are. Energy does not follow the usual rules of separation. It moves through intention, emotion, and thought. But here is the deeper layer. Energetic connection does not always mean you are meant to be together in the usual way. Sometimes souls meet to bring growth. You might be the spark that helps him understand what his spirit truly wants. Honesty, calm, freedom. And through him, you may be learning to respect your own energy, to care without holding, to understand that connection does not demand possession. Spiritual bonds challenge the ego. They test patience, limits, and self-awareness. They remind us that real love is not ownership, it is recognition. When he feels drawn to you, it is not about disloyalty or temptation, it is about resonance. You reflect a vibration that pulls him toward alignment with his higher self. So when you feel that strong charge between you, know that it is more than emotion. It is energy exchanging understanding. The connection is teaching both of you something important, that true love is not about holding tightly, but about awakening. Sometimes the most meaningful relationships are not the ones that stay forever in form, but the ones that permanently shift the frequency of your soul. It is one thing to feel a deep, undeniable bond with someone. It is another to understand why they cannot completely choose it. Often what keeps him tied is not only duty or obligation, it is fear. Fear of breaking the image he has built, fear of hurting others, fear of facing the confusion and change that follow big decisions. Many men stay where they are not because that place gives them the most joy, but because it gives them the most predictability. The familiar, even when it lacks real fulfillment, feels easier to control than the unknown. He could be held by responsibility to family, to promises, to a version of himself he once believed was right. Maybe he fears judgment or being known as the one who stepped away. These unseen threads can be stronger than any chain. Guilt, duty, and fear combine into a powerful hold that keeps him where he is, even when his heart quietly moves elsewhere. But here is what most people overlook. The energetic bond between the two of you also grows stronger when you hold on with attachment, when your thoughts circle around him, When your emotions rise and fall based on his behavior, you feed the same energetic loop. It becomes a cycle of longing and waiting, both of you tied to a connection that cannot fully breathe. The more you chase a result, the tighter the attachment becomes. To let go of attachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you move from needing to control the connection to allowing it to exist naturally. You honor what it opened within you, the vulnerability, the awareness, the reminder of how deeply you can feel without forcing it to take a certain direction. Energetic freedom begins when you stop fighting the present moment. Start by gathering your energy back into yourself. Turn your focus inward. Ask yourself what this connection is teaching you about your own inner world. Maybe it is showing you where you have accepted less than you deserve. Maybe it is revealing how strong your emotional depth truly is. When you understand those lessons, the attachment softens on its own. You stop holding on to his potential and begin choosing your own calm. And interestingly, when you release that energetic grip, he often feels it too. The moment your energy lets go with grace instead of anger, he senses the change. Sometimes that very space allows him to see more clearly, to confront his own fears, to examine what truly keeps him bound. But whether he chooses to free himself or not is no longer your responsibility to carry. You are not meant to wait for someone to unbind themselves. You are meant to grow into the version of yourself that this connection helped reveal. Because love that is right for you will never ask you to shrink, pause your life, or carry the weight of another person's confusion. Letting go of attachment is not losing him. It is rediscovering yourself. And in that freedom, you create the vibration that brings what is truly aligned with you. There comes a moment in any deep connection when you must step back and ask yourself, am I holding on from love or from fear? Because the truth is, self-worth and divine timing are always linked. When you finally understand your worth, you stop asking for moments that were never meant to belong to you. You stop waiting for someone to suddenly wake up and recognize what they already feel but cannot act on. You begin to realize that love does not need to arrive according to your preferred timing for it to be real. And sometimes letting go becomes the highest form of trust in divine timing. Self-worth is not created by being chosen. It grows when you choose yourself, even when it hurts. When you truly see your value, you stop measuring it through someone else's uncertainty. You understand that your love, your presence, your kindness are not things someone has to earn or weigh against anything else. They are offerings. And anyone who cannot meet you in that place of shared respect and honesty simply is not aligned with the direction your soul is moving toward. Divine timing is not punishment, it is protection. Sometimes the universe slows what you want because it is preparing you for what you genuinely deserve. Maybe he is not ready yet. Maybe you are not ready either. Maybe this connection was never meant to become a relationship, but instead a realization, a mirror showing you what you have outgrown, what you have hidden within yourself, or what you deeply long for. That is the quiet influence of divine timing. It rearranges your path not to deny you love, but to guide you toward a love that is steady, clear, and shared equally. When you align with that understanding, everything shifts. You stop chasing closure from someone else because you recognize that closure is something you offer yourself. You stop looking for signs outside you and begin becoming one, a sign of strength, faith, and self-respect. You learn that what is meant for you cannot be taken away, postponed forever, or destroyed. It can only be redirected until both hearts are prepared to meet in truth. It is okay to feel the ache. It is okay to grieve the almost that never became the always. But let that pain be a passage instead of a cage. Let it guide you back into your own strength, your own brightness. Because when you choose yourself, you tell the universe that you are ready for alignment, not attachment. And that is when divine timing unfolds gracefully, naturally, without pushing, without forcing, only flow. The right person at the right moment will never need persuasion. They will see your worth clearly because by then you will already be living it. So let go with calmness, trust the timing, and remember your value was never found in being selected. It was always in knowing you never had to wait to become whole. As we reach the closing part of this journey, it matters to pause and breathe. Connections like the one we've explored here, those that feel magnetic, confusing, and strong, are never accidents. They arrive in your life not just to stir up feelings, but to reveal truths about your heart, your limits, and the depth of your resilience. Healing begins when you recognize that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you build with yourself. It is natural to feel longing, to wonder what could have happened, and to question why timing seems to work against you. But these feelings are not signs of weakness. They are evidence that you are human. They are echoes of a soul that recognizes connection even when circumstances hold it apart. Allow yourself to feel without judgment. Let the tears appear, let the questions rise, and let the moments of doubt exist, because this is where transformation begins. Emotional release is the doorway to emotional freedom. Healing also demands perspective. When someone is tied somewhere else, it becomes easy to take it personally, as if you are lacking or incomplete. The truth is, the world does not weigh your worth based on someone else's choices. You are whole exactly as you are. Your light does not fade because another person has not stepped into it fully. Understanding this is an act of self-respect. It moves your attention from waiting for reassurance to strengthening inner clarity and calm. Part of healing is learning to let go of attachment. That does not mean ignoring love or pretending the connection never mattered. It means releasing control, letting go of the need for a specific outcome, and trusting that the universe or divine timing